Hello and welcome to my podcast, And She Was. I'm Julie Wilson-Nimmo and I just love the chat more than life itself. I cannot get enough of it. This podcast series aims to give inspirational, eloquent and motivational women who live and work in Scotland a voice and a platform to share their enthralling human interest stories with us. I love gabby, feisty women and I'm fascinated as to how they got to where they are today. I was super excited to record this week's podcast with the supremely talented Scottish actor Dawn Steele. Dawn has been an ambassador for female actors throughout the UK. She's been so dedicated to her craft, showing determination, humour and good grace. Monarch of the Glen, Sea of Souls, Wild at Heart, River City and currently BBC One's Holby City are just some of Dawn's professional credits. We would be here all day if we started listing off all of her TV, film and theatre appearances, as her career has been meteoric. However, there's a lot more to this courageous woman than meets the eye. Dawn and I are kindred spirits, and there's lots that bonds us, as you're about to find out. So, we got all the hellos and virtual kisses and hugs out of the way first, and then we did a deep dive into our chat. And here's the result. So take us back, if you don't mind, Dawn. Indulge us in, your childhood, where you grew up. For people that maybe don't know, just give us a wee bit about what your childhood was, if you don't mind.
So I grew up in a place called Milton of Campsie. I mean, we kind of flitted about before that, but that's where I went to primary school. And my mum and dad still live there. It's kind of North Glasgow. I mean, it's a beautiful little village right at the Campsie Hills. But at the time when I was growing up, you had to get the one bus, and it was pure like one bus an hour, and it would take like an hour to get into Glasgow. So it felt really not part of Glasgow, if you know what I mean. And I know it's not. It's still got a Glasgow postcode, obviously, but it's a tiny little village. And of course, now they've built a new bit of motorway and you can get into town in like 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's really easy and, it's totally changed now. But when I was growing up then, I was like, this is boring. We're miles away from anywhere. Of course, now I go back and I'm like to mum and dad, oh my God, it's so beautiful here. Like I know exactly why they chose to live there now, And we were really privileged, really lucky, grew up in a lovely house. I've got 2 younger brothers. Yeah, and then went to school, Craighead Primary, which like my brothers, wee boys go to now because, they all still live there. And my best friend Elaine, her kids now go there and it's just really nice. And when we were last up, I went up to the school. It's like, oh my God, it's tiny, as you do. And got the boys from school and stuff. So yeah, so we're there. I'm still there as much as I can. We can get back because obviously my whole family's still up there. And then went to school, Kilsyth Academy. That's what I did. And
when you were at school, you've set the scene so lovely there, and you are really lucky, especially, being a mum yourself now, being able to go back and show your daughter all that. That's really special because a lot of people move, don't they, and they don't ever get to do that. But so when you were at school, were you interested in drama? What sparked it for you? Always want to perform?
I think what happened was it was just through dancing, which I've now seen in my own daughter, you know what I mean? And I think it was just through I went dancing from a very young age. I don't know what sparked that. I think that was just extracurricular activities that your mum was trying to get you into, and I just loved
dancing,
it.
What kind of dancing?
So I did ballet, disco, tap, majorettes, all of it. I did all of it.
And did you do shows? Is that maybe when you went on stage?
Yes. My mum still got all the pictures. So then I went on to, there was a little drama group in Kirkintilloch called the Kirkintilloch Players. Don't know if you've heard of them. And I joined that. And so, and even then it was just more in the chorus, and I was part of the pantomimes and things like that. And then that moved on to kind of bigger roles such as Sweeney Todd.
Oh, here we go.
Yes. With a big fake moustache. I only got it because I got my hair all cut short.
Hold on. Were you Sweeney Todd?
Yes.
I didn't know. You've never told me that before.
I was Sweeney Todd, obviously.
I'm the guy.
I need to find pictures. My mum's literally still got pictures. But I had remember getting all my hair cut short. I don't know why.
For the part?
No. I just got it all cut short. I must have been about 12 or 13, and I got it all cut off. And then crying in Marks and Spencer's because an old lady bumped into me and went, "Oh, sorry, son." I was like, "Oh my God, I hate my hair. I'm growing it." But anyway, I think I digress. I think that's why I got the Sweeney Todd part, do you know what I mean? So I did like loads of little, they had a little theatre in Kirkintilloch, I mean tiny, and I just did loads of like plays there, and that was it. And it's all I've ever wanted to do. Like so much so I'm like, I actually cannot do anything else. No. I just can't.
So hold on, I'm just checking. So you're 12 at this point and you've done the show, and it's the aftermath, if you like, of finishing a show like that, because it's different when you're 12, isn't it? And I know that me and you're very similar like that about performing, but I imagine if we'd been pals when we were together when we were wee, it would have been a riot. But I bet when you finished that show, you were just like, almost like the come down the show finishing stuff, and did you kind of go, then I need to do this forever, or was it still?
It's just all I wanted to do. I just wanted to do it. But at that time I didn't really, even at school, because obviously now we're in high school, drama was just it wasn't a subject, because it was 19 canteen, it was ages ago. And it was just what do you call them, what were they?
Well, you didn't have an exam in it, didn't you? No, it was like not an extracurricular thing, but
it was. We had drama at school, but you didn't sit and examine it. And I still loved it then, though. Mrs. Smith, her name was, the drama teacher at Closide Academy. And I don't know, it's just, I loved art as well, but I just wasn't good enough to go to art school. Like, I loved it, and it's still in me. Like, I still have fantasies about, I'm going to join an art class and I'm going to go every week and I'm going to start paint. I know, but I'm just always, I'm working. I can never commit to, just because when you're filming, especially the schedule I'm on and continuing drama, I only know what I'm doing 2 weeks in advance. It changes on a daily basis. Yeah, I can never really commit to anything. That's my excuse, that I've not got the old easel out yet.
Yeah, but look where you live. You'll get to that at some point. That's still...
when I'm retired, I'll be down there at the seafront.
I can imagine it. That's a lovely thing. But you've got the artistic thing in you at that age, and you know enough. I was going to say savvy enough, but you just know there's something in you to go, that's what I want to do. Because I guess your school was the same. So you're moving on through high school, and then you probably have the career chat. The careers officer, did you have them coming in? Yeah. And I was like, I want to be an actress, but I can't really remember what they said. I don't ever remember being told no. They were like, oh, right, okay. I think they were didn't really know either, what do you do? How do you become an actor? Like, and in my head, I suppose when you're at school, you're always kind of told, oh, you need to go to university, or, you need to get a degree. And I just spent all my time in the art room. It was just us in the art room all together, drama classes, and then obviously out with. And when I was at high school, I moved on from the Kirkintilloch Players, and I went to, this is quite random, right? But I went to the Dorothy Paul. Dorothy Paul is a very famous kind of Scottish actress. I was going to say the Dorothy Paul.
Yeah, the Dorothy Paul.
Wow.
Ran a little Saturday acting class in her house. Oh. And I got to know it through my mum's friend. And that was it. And I started going there every Saturday. My mum and dad would drive me from Milton Campsie all the way to the West End, and then would sit in the car and wait on me, or go and get a coffee, whatever, and come back.
To Dorothy Paul's actual house?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And what was great was I just met this different group of people, do you know what I mean, from the city centre of Glasgow. And, you know what I mean, rather than being way out there and just going to Kirkintilloch, it was kind of got this whole new set of friends. And and the same thing, we used to just to put on like
shows,
Bugsy Malone and things like that. And because Dorothy obviously was an actress herself, anyone that was looking for maybe children in any kind of TV series, or they would come to her. Yeah. And I remember like auditioning for things, and that was my first thing of like not getting things. But I also, that was the first time I did any professional work, so I got a little job there. Playing, it was a documentary on Charles Rennie Mackintosh, and I played one of the little girls who lived in the White House in Helensburgh.
This is beyond cute.
And Tom Conti played him, and Francesca Annis played his wife. I mean, listen, I was like
Oh my
13
gosh.
but totally like didn't know at all. Like they had a break in filming and we went on holiday and I came back and I'd got a perm. And I always remember the makeup artist going to my mum, what do you mean she's got a perm? Like what? And this perm, I thought I was meant to look like Madonna in, is it like a prayer video? I can't remember. No, not like a prayer. There was a video and she had the most amazing curly bob. And I got this perm and I basically looked like my nana. Do you know what I mean? It was really tight.
I was going to say, was it one of those acid tight perms that was the smell of eggs?
Spot on, not Madonna.
So did you have to go back to filming
and then they
look
had
like
to put like a hairpiece on me and all that, and I remember them being raging, and that was the start of my kind of, now I just live in continuity like hell. I can never get my hair done. Everything's got to be the same for years and years.
But to be fair to you, Dawn, you're what, 13? Did they
Not
explain
really,
this to
and
you?
I didn't know because we'd never done it. I'd never done a professional job like that, And
No.
then...
Please tell me that there's evidence of you before and after with the perm in the film.
No, because it's
We
just
need
like
to
a
find
wig
this.
that they put on. So it was fine actually because it was a hairpiece and I was like, well, you're going to hide it anyway. Anyway.
Yeah.
So and that was it. And I just kind of did all that with Dorothy Paul. And then I suppose I got more savvy to how to do it, like drama school, really.
And did you start to hear from maybe your new pals at Dorothy's? Did you know people? Were they talking about? Well, I would imagine maybe the academy. Did that come up and stuff?
I can't really remember. It must have, because that's how I knew about it, really,
Yeah.
And also through school, I think, through your careers thing. But, I just applied for the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama. I didn't apply anywhere else because, my mum and dad couldn't afford that. And you're lucky in Scotland that your fees get paid. Yes. Honestly, people in England just now, like where I live, even actors who I talk to at work just now in Holby, they're like, well, you went to drama school and your fees were paid. I was like, yeah, like they can't quite get over that. Yeah.
I relate to that. I remember, and I didn't actually know till you're saying it now. It just shows you that you learn something from your friends all the time. I was exactly the same. And when I went to audition, and then other people that I knew were like, well, did you just pick that one? Did you like it? I went, no, that's the only one that I applied to for the exact same reason, because I remember a friend from East Kilbride where I grew up that went, and then she couldn't go because her mum and dad couldn't afford it. And she was heartbroken. And I thought, well, I had a thing about going to the academy anyway because I knew an actor there. Yeah. So that was it for me. Not that it was second choice. That was just, if I want to do this, I was the same as you. That's where I would be going to do it. So it's weird. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then I didn't get in. And then was like, oh God, what am I going to do? And then that's when I started going, oh, right, okay, there is other drama schools out there, but they were just too expensive. You needed, I don't know what it is, 50 quid to apply to them anyway. I can't even remember what it was then. So I just thought, right, I'm going to do something that I enjoy doing, right? And at the time, remember I was 17. I'd already been to Ibiza, loving my life. And I thought, I'll do a course in travel and tourism at Springburn College. Right. Just a year, like a little, just something that I know. And I read that this course, you go on holiday, and I mean,
I'm doing that. I'm going on my holidays.
And I was like, I could do that. And then in this year, I'll apply again to the RSMD, but I'll just try and get more experience or speak to more people who'd been there or,
Yeah.
So I did this course, had a riot. I mean, I'm not kidding, this course. You learned how to fill out a form, like an old airline, like the tickets were handwritten. That's how long ago it was. But we got to go to Ibiza for a week. And
and you got paid to go.
Brilliant pictures from that as well. And got to kind of shadow a club 18 to 30s club rep.
No, you didn't.
Oh my God.
At that age, you're still...
by the time I was 18. So
right.
I was like the oldest one in the course, and they were all like, Dawn, you're really leading people astray. I mean, not much has changed, because quite a lot of them were like 16. And then, whilst I was doing that, I joined the Strathclyde Theatre Group. And I think it was part of Strathclyde Uni, and there was a lot of the drama students and the English students who went there. And that was the making of it, really, to be honest, because then I met lots of people who'd even trained at the RSMD, you know, like maybe years before. And I met a lovely man called Nick, and he kind of helped me with my pieces, like what I should choose, what I should do, how to do it. You know, I mean, it was an eye-opener, because it really made me kind of choose the right pieces and know what I was going to do. And it just helped enormously. So I applied again, and then I got in.
There you go.
Yeah.
But how fantastic that you've had to go on that journey, and actually the travel course and stuff like that, you'll remember that forever. But do you know what I mean? Because people listen to it, because people just presume, oh, you just walk up to the college and you get in and it's easy. You just walk in and it's this. No, it's not. And then look at your career since then, which we'll obviously talk about. But that didn't put you off for a start. You still knew you wanted to do it. And that thing about the drama school that we both went to at the time was very, very much, you're too young, you've not done it yet, you've not really seen anything yet. And they're right. Like now, at this age, at 49, I go, if I was sitting on the board for them coming in now, I would get a fright if you came in and go, she's great, she's got the talent, but she's just too young, and I don't want it to be put off, because once you get there, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard.
I mean, who knows? You'll never know why you didn't get in, and it's a mix, isn't it, of the group of people, and there's only 30 places. But, oh my God, I had the best year at drama school I could ever wish for, and I'm so glad that I didn't get into the year before. Not that they weren't nice either, but
no,
you know,
but that was your year. This was your year, was waiting on you, because you're still friends with some of them, aren't you?
Oh my gosh, yes. My friend Maddie was down last week, and it's just, you know, there's a group of us, there's about 6 of us who are very, very close.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Maddie did a read at my wedding, you know, so it's just all Michael's godfather to, you know, my daughter, and his partner Jamie. Yeah, so it's, you know, they're and I do think those are the years, aren't they?
Yes.
Really, never really mind school. Those are the years, you know, and that's the time. When I was at drama school, I got a job at Regano restaurant. I just met the best people who I'm still, because they're your years where you're doing all that growing and finding out who you are as a person. And obviously with drama school, it was an eye-opener. I'd never even seen what an avocado was. And then Giovanna had an avocado at lunchtime, and I was like, what is that? It's like, and Giovanna was Italian. She's been like, it's an avocado, like what? And we were just still going to Greg's. Although, listen, I still like a bit of Greg's, old sausage roll. Passed that on to my daughter, unfortunately.
But listen to this. Who would ever think, you need to write this in a book, but the best is that you go to drama school, people are worried about the fencing classes, and you're like, I've learned what an avocado is. I completely relate to that, because it's what you learn when you're there. And I think the smile that comes across your face when you do talk about those times, and it's not until you're a bit older you go, they were the times of our lives. That was just everything about it. You know, obviously there's classes there that you found hard and all that, but it's the friendships, and it's, without sounding cheesy, that this gets banned about a lot, but you found your tribe then, didn't you?
Oh, I totally found my tribe. And I still don't laugh. Like, with that group, like, we laugh more than any other group, because you've got all those shared histories and shared memories and in-jokes that are still make us howl, you know. And I'm not kidding, it was 23 years ago. And we're still, like, doing the same old jokes. Like, anyway. But but I also think drama school, what it did do, amongst all the absolute training and everything, you know, but it also just, in the avocado thing, it just opened your eyes to different classes, different cultures, different, you know, it was just amazing for that. And I really feel that in acting, it's just the kind of industry where you can be pals with anyone, any age, any race, anybody. Like, you'd be out in the pub with the 65-year-olds, the 70-year-old actors. I don't know if you would do that in any other, I'm not sure, you know, it's just that real lovely mix of people that you have, because you're all this creative mind, you know what I mean? I love that. I love it. And I think that's what, when you go to drama school, when you're kind of a bit young and a bit, you know, there was older people in our class, you know, it's just, I just loved it. I loved it. I was there for 4 years. Couldn't get rid of me.
I was going to say, because you did a course and then you did was it honours that you did at the end?
Yeah. Well, talking about the degree course, I'm not kidding, about 6 months into that, I was like, why did I choose this course? I was raging. Because then I found out that the DDA, the diploma, was an acting course, and they were doing play after play after play, and we were like doing so much written work. So any kind of practical thing you did, you always had to back up with a big massive essay. And I was like, oh my God, like I wasn't even qualified to do that course. I just obviously got in on my audition because you needed like 3 hires or whatever, and I didn't have that. But in hindsight, I think I did the better course. I really do, because I think we did everything, and I think it really grounded us. And in my final year, the honours year, we got to specialise in acting, directing or teaching. And there was only like 5 or 6 of us. And I did acting, and it was just us for a whole year, just doing play after play after play. And we got to do the degree show where all the agents come and see, that was all part of it. And that was just an amazing time. Yeah, it just really finished off a brilliant time at drama school for me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think that was the right one for you, because different actors that we probably both worked with, loads of them that are sort of still in the game, weirdly did that course. And I remember thinking, some saying, that's not the real course that yous are on. And I always remember thinking, what are they talking about? And then exact same where they're doing plays all the time. But we had to kind of graft as well. Like, we knew how to take a set out the back of a van and all that and put it together, whereas I don't think the other lot did do that as much. So I think that was just meant to be. It was in the stars for you. Mm-hmm. So then, shifting you on, you leave. So how soon after did you get an agent when you left there? Yeah, I was really lucky, like, with agents, you know what I mean? God, we all had pagers. Again, how long ago? Like, who am I? Do I work in a bank? Like, we all had pagers, and we'd be like, meet me at Trader Joe's in 10 minutes. Trader Joe's is the pub, by the way, around the corner. We didn't really have much to kind of page each other for, apart from that. But we all went down to London for the showcase. And I remember at the time my pager was like buzzing when we were all in the pub afterwards, and we had to go out to the phone box and phone. And so I was really lucky. I got quite a lot of agents, and I had, I went and met quite a few of them, and went with Ruth Young, who at the time was at Peter Fraser and Dunlop, but now United Agents, and I'm still with her. And so soon after that, can you remember when you got your first job? I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. I know, I'm just trying to think. Well, because I was thinking, I thought I did Gregory's Girl when I was still at drama school, but it must have been just the end, and then as a little 2 lines as a barmaid in the debt collector. I did Tinseltown with Rain Dog, again, just meeting the most amazing friends who are still friends. I spoke to Robbie Allen the other day. I was needing advice about something, and and he produced Tinseltown and all that, and I can still pick up the phone, and it is just like no time passes, is it, with these friends? It's lovely. And was that a first big telly break for you then? Kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was a break, because I don't know how well it did or all that. It was quite niche, Tinseltown, wasn't it? You know what I mean? It was very... But I still get people asking me about it. Oh my God, I love Tinseltown. It's a lot of kind of younger gay men as well who've now just rediscovered it, or, and that was a really different way of working, because a lot of it was improvised. We went to the Polo Lounge in Glasgow, which is this, gay nightclub, but we had to go in character. Oh no! And Stuart David, our director, was there, and Robin and Martin McCarty, and they were all taking notes and following us round. And just and the club, when the club was that actual club, the club, and then they would set up situations. So like, I just remember meeting Paul at the toilet, and he came in, and he's like, "Are you in character?" I was like, "No." "Oh no, are you?" That's right. But they would go away and then write stuff, that came out of that night, and we would do a lot of improvising, loads of workshops, and then they did so well, because they did all that themselves and got the money for it, and again, it was just a messy, sort of joyous time. Yeah. But I bet you're brilliant in that situation. You're gung-ho for all that. Like, I know you're laughing, going, I'm not a character, because you're doing Kate Dickie, I know, and me and Kate Dickie, and they were saying to her, right, just go to hit her. Kate was like, what? And we had this big, like, almost nearly fight. It was just like, oh God. Like, okay, stop, everyone. Somebody's going to get hurt. And then I think I got Monarch pretty much straight away. I mean, that was kind of the year 2000, really. And can you tell anyone, if they don't know what that show was, that maybe had not came across it, because you can get it now, of course, on Netflix, can't you? You can go back and see you. If you want to see my fringe at its best. You're so cute in that, and your character was called Lexi, wasn't she? Yeah. And honestly, Dawn, you're brilliant in that show, and it was just, that was a break, wasn't it? That was a massive thing. Yeah, and at that time, I still didn't, because obviously when we did Tinseltown, it was quite free and kind of a bit, there was marks and stuff, but it was that kind of trying to learn how to be on a set, and Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I was up in the Highlands for nearly 6 months. Me, Richard Breyer, Susan Hampshire, Al, Hamish, Sandy Morton. We were all in this house that was just covered in tartan from head to toe, like tartan carpets. We all had a room in this house. It was called the Ardnacoil. It was still there. And we all lived together, you know.
While you were shooting it, you all stayed there?
Yeah. We all stayed there. Stayed in a tiny village, Kingursay, and some of us in Newtonmore. And we filmed a beautiful big house called Ardvericay. And they use it all the time. They use it for like Balmoral and The Crown and things like that. But yeah, it was a very Sunday night, shortbread tin Scottish drama, but it was about a laird who came up from England to take over from his father to run this big estate. And I was the cook, always downstairs, Julie.
Oh, listen, they're the best parts. They're the best parts.
If I was in Downton, I would always be downstairs.
Yeah, but without ruining it for everybody, she doesn't stay downstairs forever.
I don't, yeah. And I did that for 5 years.
No way, was it
5 years?
Oh, wow.
But then I would do things in between it as well. I would try and do a bit of theatre, and I would, we did cutting a rug, I was trying to do little bits in between because I still was like very new to telly. But I wasn't to theatre, if you know what I mean, because that's what you do at drama school. And I mean, I look back at drama school and I was like, God, we got no television experience at all. And I think they do now. But that was the first thing I went into, luckily enough, it was the first thing I went into was telly. And I was really like, oh, what is that, Mark? What am I doing? So in Monarch, I really watched everybody. I really watched what they were doing, and I made lots of mistakes and, and just learned from them, the older actors who were amazing.
Well, see, there you go. If there's younger actresses in particular listening to this, that's how you learn, isn't it? I was going to say, you've answered it yourself. I was going to ask you that, if you could go back to that time and say, what would you do? Because, you get younger actors asking you, how do you know this and how do you know a Mark? And I just say, you just learn. The best thing you can do, isn't it? Just watch and learn.
Yeah, and just hope that, because I see it at the moment on Holby City, and we have lots of guest actors on that. There's always people with various ailments coming in, falling off their bikes. And, I took a stick out of someone's neck the other day. And a lot of young actors, and you find that on Holby, there's a lot. I mean, there's been loads of quite famous people who've been on Holby when they were like 16, 17.
Oh, yes.
And I try and be as kind and as open as I can with them, and because you do see the fear in their eyes as well, but you get some really amazing people on our crew who'll guide them as well and be like, right, okay, this is what you do now, and a bit like, just even things like, where do I sit?
Yes. When
they've shout cut, like, do you just hang about the camera? No, like, come on, just come over here, and I mean, it's a very different world now. We're all in COVID land.
So you've went from your first big telly thing, I know Tinseltown was as well, but I'm seeing you on that set in Monarch and the Glen to now, to this massive job that you've got. And I remember the day you phoned me up to tell me you were auditioning for it. Don't worry, I'm not giving away any secrets. And you were nervous going, how can I learn this? All the medical jargon. And look at you, but it was meant to be, because how many years have you been doing this? For?
3 years now. I mean,
I can't believe that's 3 years ago, Dawn.
I know.
And you absolutely love it, don't you?
I love it, and I'm so sad it's over. I mean, I'm ready to do something different. But this job is, listen, there's not many jobs I've done that I've hated. Like, it's just a really nice cast.
What's your character's name in Holby, just in case people don't know, and then they can go back again and watch it?
So I play Ange Goddard. Actually, my first name is Angel, if you can believe that.
Is it Angel? Because I was going to say Angie, and I thought, no, I'm going to get Dawn to tell you.
Yeah. Aww. So it's actually Angel Goddard. I was like, someone's having a laugh.
No, I like it.
But yeah, I play a consultant general surgeon, if you can believe that.
Wow, I can't believe it.
I just love it. Like, I love playing a doctor. Like, I love doing all the operations. The prosthetics department are amazing. So I love getting into the operating theatre. There's always amazing real life surgeons there. There's Ozzy, this surgeon who's just amazing, who's in his 70s now, and just do they show you what to do and how to hold things? They show you how to do it. I know some doctors and nurses who are like, who do watch it like, oh, well, that wouldn't have happened. But you're like, well,
It's
You've got
Telly.
to have a bit of license, you know, because if it really was real life, it would take a 3-hour operation. Do you know what I mean? And it's not going to. Anyway, and there's lots of amazing documentaries that you could watch.
I was about to say, it's not a documentary that you're acting. Yeah, give us a break.
Like, I love learning all that. And you know, there's been people there that have been on that show for 23 years, since the beginning. They've got a great crew. It's just, and also, I mean, I started it going, oh my God. Now listen, I've done a lot of telly, and even by the time I started that, I was in my 40s, you know, I was still in my 40s, but I was like 43, I'd done a lot. And I still was like nervous as anything, going, oh my God, like, how am I going to learn all this? And also the way they work, there's 2 different crews, sometimes 3, so 3 different directors. You always have 4 scripts at a time that you're working from, and you jump around. So even that in itself, any job I go to, I feel like I'm always learning. I feel like I'm still going, oh, right, okay. And even just being able to go from one director to another. In the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm not going to like this. I'm so used to having one director, you know, for however many episodes. If you're doing like a drama, it's kind of the same. But you just adapt, and I suppose that's what being an actor is. You know, you've just got to kind of roll with it, and you know, and as well, like makeup artists, like we didn't have the same makeup artists. It could change on a daily basis sometimes, you know. So you were like, oh, and to me, my makeup artist was like, you know, they become like your best friend, you know.
Yeah,
and
of course.
I was so, you know, God, I'm still in touch with some of them, and you know, I'm still like, but. I mean, to be fair, like River City was the first time that was kind of the same. You know, it's got that same kind of vibe, but it's different directors, different.
Yes.
But it's great. And now, like maybe about 3 years ago now, I went and did a little bit on a film, and I was just like, oh my God, how slow is this? It was
because you've been so used to being in that
so
system,
used to it,
just going and going.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong, I still loved it, but I couldn't believe that. I was like, oh yeah, I've forgotten that you don't do 10 pages a day. Like, you might be lucky if you do 1 scene a day on a film, you know? And it's a different sort of mindset. It's a different sort of acting, you know? It's mainly hanging about, waiting for them to do their beautiful lighting, you know? But then you get loads of goes at it, whereas in Holby you don't. You know, you could kind of, you have 1 take and then you move on sometimes. Or we'll just shoot the rehearsal.
Now when this finishes, and is it quite soon it finishes, Dawn? Is it
So
next
no, I
year?
don't finish till Christmas.
Oh, that's
and then it'll be on screen, because we film like 3 months behind. So at the moment we're doing Christmas, singing Christmas carols yesterday.
Oh,
it's not weird at all, and it'll still be on screen till March,
But you'll leave that and you'll have all that under your belt again, and it's something like...
I know, but Julie, the fear is already kicking in. It's so weird, isn't it? Because I'm not going to have a job come December, you know. And what's been amazing about Holby is, and listen, as you know, and any kind of young actress, or as soon as you have a baby, it just changes, right? It just does. It does.
Yes.
It does with what parts you can get, you know, whatever age you are. But I don't want to be now away for months and months. You know, I look back at even like Wild at Heart that was filmed in South Africa. I was like, God, we were out there for 6 months. Like, I couldn't do that now. Well, I could, but you would have to take your child out of school and blah, blah. And it's all doable. Of course it is. But I have the major mum guilt, which I hate, because why do we still have that? And what Holby's great is that it's, sometimes when I'm busy, I've got a big storyline, I'm filming every day, and I do stay in London. But then it'll be really light, and I might only be in, like, I'm off today. I was filming yesterday. I'm off tomorrow, but I'm in Thursday and Friday. You know, so I can take Coco to school, I can pick her up, you can have a life.
Yes.
Sometimes, but when you're busy, it's pure like you've got no life. And that's the beauty of it. And I still enjoy it. I still enjoy the part. And obviously with continuing drama as well, you get these big, ridiculous storylines, and you know, that you would never get because you know, Nicola Walker, they're all getting those parts, do you know what I mean? Whereas this kind of gives me you know, you get to flex all those muscles as well, you know, and I still enjoy it. So I'm sad that it's coming to an end in that way, because now I think I'm excited, because I think, oh, what's next? And it's funny, it was literally my first thought when we got told that it was stopping. My first thought was, I mean, I was quite shocked, because we just get told in work, and we were all a bit like, oh, right, okay, didn't see that coming. But I've got a few months to save up, you know, just trying to, the same, you know, you're just thinking, oh God, I've just done this job for 3 years and I've not saved a single penny.
That's
the
just
same way.
that's how
It's
it is.
just like,
Yeah, of course.
I've got kids and got, 2 dogs and mortgages and, so you're kind of a bit like, oh God. But I was excited when I heard as well, because I think, oh, what's next?
But
What
also
is next,
that decision was taken out of your hands, where sometimes people are in soaps and stuff for years and they go, do you know what, I've loved it, but it's time for me to go. Whereas that, I did feel really bad for you because I know how much you loved it, but that's out your hands now. But I understand when you said that, like I can imagine you, bless you, going, what's going to happen? But it is, it's like when we were in a play together, when we were in Tutti Frutti together and we toured and stuff, and you were always so lovely because I had 2 wee ones at the time, and you were like, how do you do this? And it wasn't until you had Coco, you went, Jules, I was always trying to drag you to the pub, but don't get me wrong, a working mum does want to go to the pub. It's just then I had to go home and help put them to bed. And
oh my God, they were like babies. And listen, that's what I'm saying, as an actress, until you have that baby, you're like, all right. I think even men think that, dads, so nobody really knows until you have them, do you? And you can warn people all you want, but still. And
they don't listen.
In good ways, but no, because you don't know, you just don't. You can't imagine it.
And also, they have to find it for themselves. It's not like I'm looking at you going, oh, wait till she finds this out. But you did, and of course you did. And it's like, then you come to each other, and one of the things that you've said there that I want to tap into is the mummy guilt, because obviously because I'm only interviewing women and I've not met one yet that doesn't have the mummy guilt. And I think that we've always said that to each other, look, have a greet. But then look what Coco's just seen you doing, especially if you just go to that last job you're now doing. She's went and seen her mum going out the door and doing that, and you're doing it for her and your family. That's where you're getting to do it for you because you can't do anything else. But that's who you are, and Coco will remember that, and she won't remember the days where you probably drove away crying and all of these horrible things and all the things we miss when we are doing this. But at the same time, she'll sit down and go, my mum loves her job and my mum's managed to do that. That's inspiring for her.
She still says, can you not get a job in Whitstable? And I'm like, oh, darling, I'd love that. Oh, my God, can you imagine filming kind of near your home? Or she's like, no, like in a shop or, and I'm like, well, I love my job and I love what I do. And I think listen, I had this same conversation with one of the actresses yesterday. She's just a baby. She's just came back. And she was like, oh my God, leaving her this morning was just, she's like, and I said, listen, I know that feeling. And I just gave her the same speech as you've just given me. But sometimes to take your own advice is, but I think I'm getting better with it. The older she's getting. Yeah. But then I've heard that actually, as soon as she starts getting into the teen years, they really need you more. And, so I'm like, oh, well, I love my job. And I love being on a set. Like, I love it. I love being in a rehearsal room. It's the most I feel me. And I think, is that a worry?
No.
But it's all I've known, and it's all and I just love it. I love being surrounded by actors. I love all the crew. I love having a laugh. I love it when a scene goes really well and you get that feeling in your tummy. I just love it all, and I love being able to kind of changing things, and I love getting my costume on, and do you know what I mean? It's just all, I do love it. But also I love my daughter, and obviously more. And I want to put that onto her, is just how important it is that we go out and work and women are out. And
but it's that age, and it's something about becoming this age, and I'm older than you. I'm 49 this year, and I'm going to be 50 next year, and I think it's all of these things, like, I can't lie to you, and I've always said to you, like, struggling to keep doing it. But see, when you said about you being in that room, and I've missed all that, and I did it last week, and I was like, working with these women at Glasgow Uni in a play, you'd have loved it, Dawn. And just looking round and laughing, and it doesn't mean I don't love my boys and my husband, but I went, this is who I am. I know that's how we've always related to each other. And
but that's why you keep going, isn't it?
The thing that I was wanting to ask you, so we're not agreeing, is what we've got in common. I don't know if a lot of people know that Dawn does wild swimming, and she's basically passed it on to me. She's like a mermaid, and I used to watch her on Instagram, like, tell me what this is and everything, and now I became completely addicted. So do you mind telling us about that? Because you always look amazing, but you seem like in the last, how long have you been doing that now? A couple of years?
Yeah. So just before lockdown, so the first lockdown. Yeah. So not that, just over a year and a half,
And do you mind telling us how you got into it and what it does for you and stuff?
So I live by the sea in Whitstable, and so it's like lucky enough to have it like there on my doorstep. And in the summer we would always swim because Coco loves being in the water and I love being in the water. But I'd always been out walking the dog. I was with my friend Sam and I was just always like, and I would see people in there in the winter and we'd be like, oh my God. And I said to Sam, would you do it with me? And she was like, oh, I don't know if I'd have the guts. And then one of the mums at school, I got chatting to her, and this was in the March or whatever it was, and she was like, oh, me and Helen started it on New Year's Day because they made this thing of, right, we're going to go in for a New Year's Day swim, pure freezing. I think they were in for about 30 seconds, you know, just get in and out because they've still got the video and they're pure screaming and kind of considering how far they've came now, it's quite amazing. And I was like, right, okay, I'm going to do it. And actually, Paul came with me as well, my husband, and we went down. And it was just exhilarating. It was just... And listen, there was no swimming. It was literally just getting in and out, splashing about. I remember the waves being massive. You know, like, oh, God, it just... I lost a ring. It was just... We were getting tossed and turned and... But that feeling when I came out was just like addictive, you know.
Because it's cold, it's freezing, isn't it?
This was in like February, like March time, and that's when it's at its coldest, even worse than December usually. Yeah. So and then that was it. I mean, I did it another 2 times, and then I was just addicted to it, and I was addicted to the feeling afterwards. But it became something. Oh, we're going to cry. Don't. It became something...
Look at you, just say it.
No, it just became something so much more. And I can't even tell you what it is. It's really hard to describe. Number one, meeting a gallus group of girls. See, I've been talking to you for an hour and I'm saying gallus already.
Sorry.
Gallus.
She's gallus, but she's got a lovely group. And how many
are there? I love them
you?
So much. So there's about 8 of us, but actually it became much bigger as well.
Right.
But then we had to keep it small because of COVID, and then it disbanded because we could only meet up with one person. And you don't, on those wintry, very cold days, you don't really want to go in on your own into the sea. Do you know what I mean? No. You need to have someone with you. But there's loads of girls who do it here now, and if some, like even our book group, we try and go for a wee swim if we meet up, and lots of people do it. But there's 8 of us who were the kind of, you know, beginners, if you like.
Originals.
Yeah. I mean, listen, God, there's tons of people here who've been swimming for years, you know what I mean? And they probably all hate us now because everybody's in their dry robes now. You know, they're like, God. But we don't do it with wetsuits. It's about the cold. And now that I've been doing it for a long time, I'm now a bit like, it's now becoming more about the swim. Like I want to kind of, especially in the summer, because you can stay in for half an hour, 40 minutes. Yeah. So I'm trying to swim a bit better. We did an open water swimming lesson in a lake, which was just amazing. And it's just the bond we all had. And I read that because of all the endorphins and afterwards, it makes you bond quicker with people because you're all on this buzz together. Because I tell these girls anything now, you know, and some of them I've only just met in a year, but just those kind of leisurely swims sometimes you have, you know, especially like the morning ones or the evening ones that just get a bit of magic about them, you know, and what you chat about and how it makes you feel afterwards. It's just, that's all I can describe it. It's like magic, you know, it just kind of, I just feel better. I just instantly feel better. And I kind of itch to get in the water, you know, if I've not been down there for a while through work or, you know, I miss it. So yeah, listen, I don't do it every day because I can't. Because I'm working and, you know, people are like, oh my God, do you go every morning? And I'm like, no, because I'm pure up at like 4:30 to get in the car, to drive in the M25, you know, to get to work, to do my own makeup, to, you know, to then film till, I don't go home till 8:30, you know. So, but those days are that you can get down are just, you know, they're amazing. I'm going to go down this afternoon, actually.
But how lovely it's like in that time, and I know what you're saying, like so many people have started during lockdown, but if anything good's came out of it, it's that. I mean, the fact that you've lived there, and we're lucky enough to have a place by the coast that you know, and I'm embarrassed that we used to go there for years and not go in. Also, we went paddling, but we never went in, and you did inspire me to do that, Dawn. At first I was putting my wetsuit on, and then you were like, why don't you try it without the wetsuit? And then you were saying, put the gloves on and a wee hat and all this kind of stuff. And I actually miss it so much. Like, it sounds really pretentious. Oh my God, is that Minnie in the background?
Oh, that's the big one. That's the old one. That's Murphy.
Oh, Murphy. She's got 2 beautiful doggies. The one's just came in there. But the fact that, like, I'm the same as you. When I am in the water now, if I'm there, I feel so weird. It's like I'm like getting everything else out the road so I can get in it. But I think it's probably really helped you when you've been working under that pressure, and then you get in, and then I bet your shoulders drop, and
absolutely.
It is magic. It's
and
magical.
Also it's also for me, like, because I think it has changed me, and I've been trying to work out. I've done other interviews when they're talking about wild swimming and how has it changed, like what is it about it? And all I can say is that I feel braver. But listen, I think that's age as well. Do you know what I mean? But I just feel like I can just get in that sea now in January. And yeah, it's cold. Of course, I still feel the cold. Yeah. But I just get in. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like, and that's fine because that takes a while to get to that. But there's a space in my head that I go to that I can just shut it out and get in there. And then once you're in, it's totally fine. And even, God, we just went to Cornwall on holiday and I was just trying to get in as much as I could, to try and experience different, and I've went to some of the Lidos, like this is the one in London at Parliament Hill. I dragged Joe McFadden in the other week. I was like, come on.
Did he like it?
Yeah, he loved it. But that's an outdoor pool, but it was freezing. And he took me to the ponds in Hampstead Heath. And again, that's a different experience. But listen, there's something about it and there's a reason why everyone's doing it. And I've had loads of people, one of my old friends, Alison, from school, who I'm still in touch with, she started doing it and she sent me one of those big bobble hats, but it was a Scotland flag. And she sent me it the other day and it just arrived in the post and I was totally crying about it as well because she was just like, thank you for pushing me, and even now I'll be texting her going, right, get your head under now. Get that.
You still do that to me. You're quite bossy about the head, but you are right. That was my question to you as well. So see, coming into the winter months, do we still put our head in?
Some people don't, but I like just a little dunk at the end.
And then your hat back on.
Just a little dunk and then your hat back on. Yeah.
Okay.
But listen, some people don't. And that's the other thing. It just depends how you feel on the day. Like, I've went down there before and some of the girls are like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not going in.
Okay.
Right. But also, it's like exercise. What I'll say is you never regret a swim, ever. No. And you'll never regret exercising. It might take ages to do it, and I've not done it for 4 weeks, and all I've done is eat and drink my own body weight. But I just had the best HIIT class this morning, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what it's about. It's just, and especially, I'm going to be 46 this year, and I'm now like, I'm really enjoying this period in my life. Listen, come back to me in January when I'm unemployed and I can't get seen for anything.
But listen, but you've answered it yourself. Look, that means it without being hippie, and I'm not looking at you when I say it, so I don't greet, but that's maybe that chapter's closing for a reason, and you'll always have it. And you're braver now, Dawn, and look at all of that. That just means that something else is coming, and that sea's not going anywhere. And whatever else is coming for you, and we both know you're such an amazing actress, you're never going to have to worry about that side of your life. That's going to come, and you'll get in that sea and you tell the girls about your next adventure through your job, and you'll always have that.
I know, and that's
fantastic.
The thing. You'll always have the sea. Do you know what I mean? I might not have a really nice job that I'm going to go to at the moment because that'll be gone come December. But I'll always have the sea.
Cut to Dawn and I like a pair of mermaids swimming off into the sunset. I can't thank her enough for joining me on this podcast today. I just loved reconnecting with her. And thanks to you all for listening. You can find future episodes on Acast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. With thanks to Matt Ramsey for editing and mixing this episode. This podcast was produced by Solace Sounds.